Welcome to Money Talk Viewpoint. I'm Shauntel, Leeson, your host. We're on our weekly series of health, wealth, and loving care, and how to attract the cash in the process of all that. We are an online talk show podcast for financial advisors and financial professionals who specialize in working with high net worth, ultra high net worth, family office, and family-owned businesses. Because the best way to get in touch with people is to have them know who you are and where you are. Reach out to us today at moneytalkviewpoint.org. We're going to get ourselves started today. I'll let each person introduce themselves and tell them what you do. Can we start at your end, Jonathan? Jonathan, introduce yourself and tell them what you do.
Sure thing. Hi, everybody. I'm Jonathan, or John to my close friends and colleagues. I am the owner and founder of Pfisterer Retirement and Insurance. And what we'd like to focus on for individuals is people who are going on to Social Security and all the way into the retirement. And we help people with their Medicare, long-term care, retirement planning.
Mary?
I'm Mary Elaine Petrucci, and I'm the transformational caregiver mind-body coach. And I help caregivers look at their limiting beliefs, strategies that no longer work for them, and look at their values as well, using mind-body techniques and hypnosis.
Katie?
I'm Katie Pfister, same last name as John. So that's my husband. We work together. Both of us are brokers doing health and life insurance, and our primary, although we do all ages, our primary focus is with Medicare. So we help people through the whole process and meet their individual needs by shopping all different types of plans.
Dennis?
Yeah, good morning. Again, Dennis Williams. The company name is CashMap Consulting. The focus of what I do after 25 years of healthcare background is enabling people to strengthen their finances, be it boosting a credit score, accelerating being able to get out of debt, boosting their portfolio performance, as well as being able to minimize the interest that they pay financial institutions. Happy to be here.
Okay. Last week we talked about communication. We talked about connecting with people. I'm going to open up today, Jonathan, and start us off, you and Katie, with the different types of products and how they affect people, and so they can understand, because a lot of people do not understand long-term care or what products are at their disposal and how they can benefit them or the family. And we can open up with you.
Go ahead, Katie.
So we have long-term care policies, but traditionally you want to get that when you're healthy and when you're younger, because the insurance companies are going to underwrite you, which means they're going to rate you based on your health and your age. So the older that you are, usually the premiums are going to be higher. There are policies that we can include riders that help to cover some of those additional things that you might need. But the long-term care idea is that you're going possibly into a facility, or you're going to need ongoing care, not just for a short period of time. Typically, short-term care could be like you have a surgery, for a period of time, you might need additional help, but then you're going to be back to normal, being back to work, able to do all your normal tasks in a day. One of the popular things that's coming up more and more now, because there's actually less long-term care businesses out there, is using life insurance to actually provide that money for yourself for long-term care. So that could include going to facility, because I know a lot of people do think about long-term care in that aspect, but it can also include home health care. So whether that's hiring someone to come to your home, now there are policies where you can actually pay a family member to be your caregiver, because that might actually be where someone has to stop working in order to take care of you. But that goes back to that communication and discussion you have to have with your family as to what you're planning to do if you need that long-term care.
Dennis, you've worked with the different types of products. Can you give some feedback on, and also you work with people in understanding their cash flow needs with CashMap. A lot of times when people go through illnesses and there's someone in the home, particularly in-home care, are they going through a lot of expenses? Can you share some of that with the audience, and how CashMap can help them a long way before they get there, and then after they get there, how they track their spending? Or however you want to take that.
That's a great point. Unfortunately, the tragedy in planning for our later years is that few of us do that. And when I say that, there's two perspectives. First of all, few people understand the cost of the care, and they frequently believe that their medical plan or Medicare is going to pay for it, when in fact it does not. So that's problem number one. And the other issue I'd also put on the table is that long-term care is frequently just focused on being a kind of when you get old problem. But in fact, there is a higher probability of someone being disabled than it is them dying. And should you have an accident, and I can think of one story of a young lady who, while I was CFO at a hospital, where she was on her way to defend the final meeting to defend her dissertation. She got into a car accident, head trauma. She was only 34 years old, and she will be in a long-term care facility the rest of her life because of the cognitive impact that it had for her. When we end up having a disability policy, of course, it replaces income, but it does not replace just daily activities or loss of cognition. And so from that perspective of what CashMap does, it does enable you to kind of plug in kind of whatever your current cash spending is, be able to see where you are versus if you were to make a change, and the impact that it would have over the coming years and the growth that you could end up having in your savings portfolio, and be able to create if-then scenarios so that you can actually have your eyes opened as it relates to kind of seeing where am I now and where do I want to be and what changes do I need to make now so I get to where I want to be. That's probably the simplest way to put what CashMap helps people do. I don't believe there is no other product on the market at this point when it comes to planning for the future, or giving you a why to that dirty word called budgeting, that enables you to kind of have a peek into the future based on what you spend today.
That's a strong point, because I know many people meet with financial advisors, and I've been a financial advisor for over the past 27 years. And we do go over budgets, and what we don't think, and I think that a lot of us project that the budget we help people set up for themselves as they set aside money into the various different investment vehicles. It doesn't really project out what you can do through CashMap. Am I correct in saying that, Dennis? From your experiences in working with financial professionals?
Yes. From my experience working with financial professionals, CashMap kind of brings a whole nother level as relates to kind of making people think in terms of here's where you are now. And now if you did this versus this, here's what it will do then. And to actually have it in the hands of the customer, an easy to use approach so that they can actually see, what it'll mean. I think one of the biggest frustrations that I have seen with financial planners and investment advisors has been you make this beautiful planning document, and six or 8 months later, you go back and talk with the client and they just blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
Right. Now they actually have it as a finance app where you can now just load it on your phone or on your tablet and then do it at home yourself.
Yeah, I have to admit that I've seen in my own experiences, we help people plan out things, and we set the different investment policies in place, and we initiate that for a client. When I go back and check that person a year up the road, it looks like none of the things you put in place actually, very seldom do they actually follow through, because life circumstances sometimes affect the impact that you have. You set me today, they're fine. Tomorrow something can happen. The kid needs money. And the parents are not going to sit there and twiddle their thumbs because it's for their retirement. They're going to spend that money. So there's no specific guarantee, but the fact that you have put together a cash map to help someone track what's going to happen up the road is distinctly different than having someone put together a document that's written in stone, and it's not always beneficial. I'm going to turn over to Mary, because Mary's the founder of a caregiver community as well as a Caregiver Academy. Share something of your experiences, Mary, with the audience here, and some of the things you've gone through with people that are going through a long-term illness and are the caregivers for that family member.
Well, several things. It does come down to financial issues, and like other people have spoken about already, you need to really figure out how you can, with the spending you're doing in CashMap, what other ways can you generate financial wealth, whether that means selling off certain items in your house or finding different avenues to create financial abundance. You also have to look at the person's identity about how they feel about their self-worth. And that really plays into how much that they will spend, or if you want to use the word like hoard money away because they don't feel worthy of receiving money. That's another step. And the third step really is to look at the story that you're playing in your mind about your financial abundance, and really stop and think about all those unexpected events and your idea of what financial abundance is, so that you can be more prepared for using the CashMap or planning for Medicare or long-term care insurance. So I think it's just looking at your perspective about how you feel about financial abundance, how worthy you feel about financial abundance, and what story you're playing in your mind, and just doing some out-of-the-box thinking and planning depending on where you are in your lifespan, so that you can be prepared for different scenarios as much as you can. And like Dennis was saying, with that 34-year-old woman, it really limits your ability and the services that you're getting when you're in long-term care. So, because then you're on state Medicaid at that point, and Medicaid does not reimburse for a lot of rehab or other necessities that you may need.
If you have two different entities that you manage, what's the difference in your caregiver community and your Caregiver Lifeline Academy? Share with the audience the differences in the two. And for the people that are listening, where will they fit in? Because I'm sure there are people that want to know, there are caregivers that are out there already who need support, and some probably need more training on how to be a better caregiver. Can you share with us the difference in the two different entities?
Definitely. Thank you for asking. The Caregiver Lifeline community is really an area where caregivers can ask other caregivers about their experiences and how to maybe change a certain situation that they're experiencing at the time. They also would have access to the speakers who have offered different programs for them. I have speakers who are on like 3 of my Caregiver Lifeline summits, so they have access to other materials and support services from speakers or from myself, because I was a caregiver for both my parents in terms of making sure that they had 24/7 care. The Caregiver Lifeline Academy, on the other hand, really offers all the mind-body programs and hypnosis training programs for caregivers, whether it's a family caregiver, allied health person, a nurse, a holistic practitioner, to help them with their stress, overwhelm, and burnout, so that they can have a more rewarding caregiving journey as well as a more purpose-filled life.
I appreciate that. Jonathan, I'm not going to let you sit there and be quiet. All that energy you have.
You're not.
Jump right in and give us your story, your feedback, and what you think we need to add into our conversation here.
Well, as we know, everything that we do on this side of the table, every single one of us is about, we have a wealth of knowledge, and it's really about trying to find the people that need it. We really want to educate these individuals out there, whether it's about managing money, managing their health insurance, getting the right care, and then the people that are giving them that care, making sure that they're up to date with what they need. Ultimately, you can plan forever, but then a wrench happens, right? So it's about getting the right support structure in place. So when something does go bump in the night, you have somebody, a team, an individual, whomever, ready to go and help you through that navigation. I believe everybody on this side of the table has that attribute.